This one particularly, we made it for the educational purposes with the schools, where it's very easy and the principals are there to learn how to put the drum together. Not necessarily the handle that is shown in different tribes and different patterns, but we just wanted to put something together that you can put together as a demonstration, and this is what we came up with from an internet that showed somebody making the drum with this type. So we thought that was a good idea, except we added on to how to put the handle in there for that.
Welcome everyone to this year's role model ceremony. Most of you know who I am already. My name is Ernest Johnson, principal of ABMHS. And this year is a very special year for our role model ceremony. The person that's being honored today is a person that I feel is really close to my heart, Ernest Johnson. Congratulations, Dada. Well, das ultiega, meganusin la year role model.
My own understanding of a hide comes from my work on furs that I process for market, like beaver and stuff like that. I've learned to flesh the hides since I was 12 years old. So when we were doing muskrats and squirrels a long time ago, like this one here, like a squirrel here, we would clean it up, flesh it, get all the oil out of it, and use it for insoles or whatever. And we were 12 or 13 when we were doing that. And my grandfather would use a bow and arrow and bring home 5 or 6 squirrels, drop them on the table, and then we would skin them, flesh them, clean them up, dry them, and then put them up, or he would send them on to a buyer for 25 cents.
Because Ernest is a type of a guy that he not only demonstrates of his love and compassion for nature, but he also has, through the years, been very successful in sharing the knowledge that he has learned while going through different areas, whether trapping, hunting, or just enjoying nature. There are very few words one can use to describe Ernest for his compassion, for his seriousness of demonstrating to everyone that yes, we still can use some of the ways of our forefathers, at the same time being very conscious that we don't remove more than what the system can sustain. As I said earlier, I have known Ernest practically all my life. It seems always that our trails will always go in the same direction, whether it's a residential school, whether it's the boarding schools, or whether just playing as kids when we were young. So there is not much words one can say to really capture the essence of that individual. And I guess no words would justify it. But I would encourage everyone not just only to listen to him, but if given the opportunity, ask him if you can accompany him to one of his many, many journeys into our natural world.
This is a muskrat that's being processed ready for whatever we want to use it for. So this will take a little bit of cleaning. We'll take all this little fat and meat and everything, clean it up good like this, and then use it for a different products, whatever, what we do, earmuffs or whatever. So whatever the first scarves, they can be made into almost anything. There's beautiful fur on this.
But Ernest he has great experience in working with people, especially youth and elders, and because he's got a lot of experience, and him being involved in all aspects of natural resource management, I think it's a benefit to us. Ernest also is a good teacher as far as wilderness is concerned. He's a survivalist in the woods. He spent a lot of time in the woods trapping and learning all the fundamentals from different hunters and trappers from different nationalities. And he's passing that information on to the youth and teaching them about different wildlife plants. He can take you out in the woods and show you all the different plants and medicines, herbal medicines. He has tremendous knowledge. And hopefully, I hear he's been honored, and I think he's deserving of this honor as a role model. And I think all the youth that he's been working with can definitely benefit his skills and talent.
This is a finished eel that was done with vegetable tanning using hemlock bark. This is what we have, pardon the dishes. This is what's been there a while. See, it's beginning to tan out. It's beginning to tan evenly, and as you go, it'll penetrate and cure. Now, the funny thing about tanning is that this was once an eel. When you tan it, and when it's completely tan, it's no longer eel skin because it has gone through a chemical change.
All these years I've known Ernest, he's always been doing something, never still. Somebody described him as an ant, never settles down, always doing something. He was on council. He was past president and vice president of the Nova Scotia Indians, I believe. He's always been interested in our language and our culture. He hunts and he traps for a living. He teaches other people how to work leather, how to do trapping and hunting skills as well. Some of the things that he always does amazes me sometimes about his skills. He can come home with some things that nobody ever tries, and he can master them within a couple of days, and he does that on his own. He's a very bright person. He has a lot of enthusiasm in whatever he does, a lot of energy. When he does something, he does it so that he eventually becomes very skilled, if not an expert at it. He will not give up on something like that. He has a very strong will to accomplish things.
One of the things that staple food was eels, and then another one that we do quite a bit, and we're kind of happy to be able to work with, is the muskrat. Muskrat is here very abundant here, and like this one is just drying out. It'll eventually get cured, tanned, and when it's tanned, we will be able to use it for different things. Now, muskrat also is not limited just to fur. Like we use We used the fur for different things, making small little muffs, mitts, hats, different things. But we also have another use for it, and that's we use it for food. Now here it says two muskrats in November. This will make a roasted or stewed. It will also make a nice dinner. We enjoy muskrats, and as much as we enjoy rabbits, I think it's about. This tastes more like a rabbit than the rabbit.
G'day, my name is Leon Denny. I'm a band counselor for Eskasoni First Nation. Today I'm here talking about Ernest Johnson. I was sitting there all morning thinking about what should I say about Ernest. I've known Ernest since I was 14. My first job came from Ernest, working at the arcade in Eskasoni. He was our game master. We used to call him the game master, him and his brother. We became really good friends as the years went by, and I learned a lot from Ernest, especially with trapping, drum making, and just being a person, really. I think he has a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience in this world, and I learned. I think a lot of people have learned a lot from Ernest. Plus, he's really a good friend to be around with. And one thing that really stands out for me with Ernest is the way he challenges you when you ask him some advice or questions. He would always just give you enough. For the rest you had to figure out yourself, and I wouldn't sleep for days wondering what did he meant by the information that he gave me. So I always laughed about that one, and I'm sure his family members are laughing with it as we're talking about it.
Like these little skulls are helpful in schools for the students to learn about the identity and the biology of a muskrat. So they take these skulls and they do studies with them to see how the skull, how come the animal can stay underwater, and then their life expectancy and various other things, knowledge about the wildlife. So they use these to learn about the wildlife. So I provide these. Oh, these are just this is a fox skull that I have. I save these for sometimes we use the teeth for pendants or something like that after they're cleaned. But they also use these to study biology.
All right, growing up with a dad such as Ernest Johnson, our role model, there was a lot of opportunity for him to educate us, not only in academics, but also in the cultural, traditional sense. Growing up in Eskasoni, there was 5 of us, and With the 5 of us, he would educate us on traditional medicines, traditional teas. We had a garden growing up, so he made sure that we were aware, that we were educated. I remember many times that I would go with my father to check his trap lines in the morning. Sometimes it'd be in the evenings, and we would come home bearing some animals, and I recall being taught how to skin animals such as muskrat at a very young age. I was about 10 or 11 when my mom and dad first taught me how to skin animals, because they did a lot of fur harvesting growing up. They did a lot of trapping. I went with my dad to a lot of fishing events. And mostly now I find that he's teaching me a lot about language, a lot about medicines, and a lot about identifying traditional herbal plants and medicines. Another thing that I want to say about my dad is I think that's one of his good characteristics is he's always looking for ways to learn how to do things. He's got this thirst for knowledge, and he's very resourceful. And one of the things that he's passed down to me as well, I guess, is my resourcefulness. And also his creativity, because he can create things, such as recently we had Ernest, also with Cultural Journeys, come to our high school, and we had the students involved, and 60 students total that have been involved up until now, at the present, who made drums. So far we've made 60 drums with our students. Another thing that he did was not just making drums, but he would go to the classroom, the math classroom, and teach the kids about the mathematics involved in drum making. And the kids eventually learned how to make the hoop, how to process the hide, to flesh the hide, how to cut the proper diameter, how to lace it. And the end product was not just a physical drum, but the kids learned also the process in making a drum. They also learned the language, Mi'kmaq language, with respect to drum making, and also mathematics, and what the Mi'kmaq people needed in terms of mathematics to construct such a thing as a drum. Also with my dad, he's very generous with his knowledge. He feels that's his, I don't know if I should call it purpose, but that's what it seems like to me, because a lot of times when I go visit, when he comes to the school, he's always sharing his knowledge, his language, and just being insightful. He's got a lot of wisdom, and he's not afraid to share it. I think that's what he loves to do. Is he loves to share his knowledge and his language with anybody that's willing to learn.
I just want to recognize the student selection in Ernest, and I also want to congratulate Ernest for being the Role Model of the Year for 2014. He's an excellent selection. I hope him the best in the future, and I want to thank him for his contributions for our community in the past. So I just want to say thank you, Ernest, and Walalio.
Ernest, you are a great role model. You're a great teacher. You're a great friend. And I personally congratulate you for being picked as our community role model. Great job, Nidap.
Okay, and I'd like to congratulate Ernest Johnson for being chosen Role Model of the Year, and I believe that the students in school in Niskasoni have chosen a good role model. He exemplifies a good person that likes to help out the communities, people, and anybody that comes to his house for help. Congratulations.
The person that selected, or the persons that selected Ernest as a role model of the year, is what I gather is the youth that selected him. And he's been going to schools and meeting with the young people in high school and junior high, and talking to the youth, and making sure that what he knows is passed down to the youth. So, you know, I must congratulate the youth for selecting Ernest as a role model. But also, you know, I think Ernest deserves this role model. He's been a contributor to the community of Eskasoni, and if you need anything, all you have to go talk to Ernest, and he'll find it. If he doesn't have it, he'll get it for you. So that's the way Ernest is. He's very helpful. If you're stuck with anything, he'll come to you. You know, you go to him, and he'll get you whatever he can, or even he'll look for whatever you need. And he's very helpful. And but I'd like to congratulate Ernest for this award, and hoping that keeps up with the good work that he's been doing. Thank you.
Ernest, kedul ni mulla. Dan teji vuldaasi, dan teji kelu kelaadigen. Meganuksin nigela role model of the year. Muji awan taun atte bohtu ko dakil. So siudul lugeran tellugun. Siuginamuinen. Siftu klabis sabiginamasutti desnen. Wala alinep.
Once I was talking to Charlie Joe Dennis, and he said, you never come straight out to tell a person something. You do it in a way that you come around to it, and it's not. I really don't understand it. And you know, I always say that. How do you thank a cook for the meal? And I believe that when you eat and enjoy the meal, then the cook knows that he did a job. You appreciate his offer. So I think that my presence, my continued presence, I can only try to show my thankfulness to those students, and they've given me an opportunity that is unique, because I can live the rest of my life the way I want it. But the part that they've given me was not included. Now they've included the part that I know I will be able to share with them, because they have made it possible. And how do you thank a cook but take the food that he has offered, and the food that they're offering is unending, you know, because like if a cook gives you a slice of pie and he keeps coming with more slices, you know, and the more you enjoy it. And I think that's the only way that I can thank and show my thankfulness, is to devour whatever they put in front of me, because it's everything that they will be coming from their hearts.